everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Jovan's Chismes. And today we are discussing reconnection. And, oh my gosh. First of all, I just want to say the original episode was going to be consistent of me and my really good friend, one of my besties. His name is Rolando. Oh my god, I don't want to butcher his name because I, for some reason, have not been able to pronounce it. So call me an Osabo kid. I don't care. But that's not the point. The point is that, well, I call him Nando. There was an episode that we filmed together. It's really, really good. I love it. We dive deep into what we have done in the 12 years that we haven't seen each other. Because we knew each other at a really young age, and then we came back together and we reconnected and we became really good friends. And it was a really, really nice episode that I wish people at some point will get to see. Maybe if it comes along, but at least for this season, at least for this first half, it's not something that I want to bring out there just yet, just because it doesn't fit the overall thing that I have. And to him, I apologize, and he knows, and he's okay with it. So I'm sorry, but that's not what's going to be discussed about today. Maybe a little, but because there were some really nice points that we talked about in that episode. But actually, I'm going to talk about my reconnection with myself because it's something that I never honestly ever thought would take so long. Um, because for the longest time, I personally felt like a stranger to myself. I felt like I wasn't who I've always wanted to be. And we can go far back as like childhood, and like the fact that, for the longest time, I knew I was different and that I knew there was something different about me. And, I didn't know it was because, at least until the age of 5, I didn't know that it was because I was gay. Like I was so terrified to ever mention that word or like have discussions or conversations about that because one, I and it's no blame on anyone in my family, but I didn't really grow up with queer influences in my life. I didn't grow up with that sense of a queer community. I didn't grow up with that sense of like knowing who I wanted to be, because not because they didn't want to talk about it, but because it never really came up. I grew up in a household where it was primarily women for most of the time, most of the day, because the men would go off and work and then come back really late to provide for our family. And I was thankful to have my mom and my dad, and to have them and to have their love and support. But I never really had those conversations, like those bigger conversations. Especially because, and I think this is something that I think, and not everyone necessarily has to agree with me, but children can comprehend a lot of things. Like, they're very, very smart. And for me personally, when it's more feelings rather than actual like conversations or like things that I've told myself. But I remember feeling the emotions of shame and guilt and just fear because I knew I was different. And I wish there was ways for me to like get it out there. And I think the only things that like I ever felt comfort in, like the only things that I ever really um told myself like, oh, I can truly be myself, is I grew up with a lot of Disney movies, primarily the Disney princess movies. And we would have a VHS recorder, and just a VCR, and we would have a lot of VHSs, that my parents would find at garage sales or Goodwill for like $1, cents. And I had the whole collection, like everything. And I would remember playing those back over and over again with my folks or just by myself, because I got to the point where I could do it by myself at like 3 or 4. And I would just have them watch the movies over and over and over again. And um, I love them because every single character, regardless of gender, had something to overcome, had something to strive for. And yeah, we can get into about the logistics of like, the out of date, out of style, like the way that they handled certain topics and themes. But honestly, for right now, I just want to focus on kind of the good things. And I feel like we can talk about those things later because I do acknowledge them now that I'm older. There are some things where I'm like, oh, that's not. I felt like my little self was beaming and glowing and was always just thriving. And the little queer love that I felt in my heart was always there. Or like when I would see a lot of heroines at the time, female heroes, not the drug. Also, I know English still very good, but I I would see them be powerful and want something more for themselves, and I would just be like, man, someday I'm going to be like that. Like that's why I think I hold a huge connection to part of your world, because Ariel wanted to be part of a bigger world than herself. And for me, whenever I sing part of your world, it's because it was my younger self always being like, I want to be loud and proud. I want to be myself. I want to be my authentic person. And I didn't know what that felt or like what it was at the time. Um, and it took me so many years to figure out who I really was. At the ages of 15 and 16, when I went to high school and I started to involve my life into different communities and different perspectives, because the high school I went to was awesome at that. I met so many people from so many different backgrounds and different, you know, sexual orientations and different like perspectives that I was starting to figure things out. And I started to, I mean, for the longest time, and everyone knew this was a fucking lie, I told myself that I was bi because I think it was still the internalized homophobia that I felt towards myself, where I was like, no, there's a possibility that I could be with a woman and this. But like now I think to people, just to have a simple conversation, which I, you know, especially to like people I just met, or like even like, you know, people who aren't in my life and who don't know the greater details, I just tell them I'm gay. But to like my friends and family, they know that I'm gay, like queer. And I say queer in the sense because like experiencing life as a young adult after high school, and then like having those exposures to queer communities, you start figuring out things that you like and that you really like enjoy, and people that you are attracted to. And I always tell people I don't care when it comes to anatomy. Like that's not something I think about. I'm not weird like that. I don't like to think about those things, because I just don't. Like that's just me. But anyone male or mass presenting, like I'm game. Like that's it. And we can, whoever has questions about that, we can have a discussion about it. But like honestly, that's just as simple as I could put it. Like I don't care about genitalia or anatomy, and if you do, you're weird. Just pointing that out there. Um, because to me, it's like I've experienced and have connected with my body and my person, and like on my own, I've realized that I'm myself. I'm cool, and I love getting to do things on my own now, and I love to be able to just kind of have those conversations to myself and have like figure things out for me, and to truly dive deeper into who Jovan really is. And you know, I think after my really horrible abusive relationship when I was 19, I think that also hindered a lot of the process of figuring out who I was. But then it was almost like after the breakup and after me leaving him, which everyone's like, what? And that's a story for another time. Um, but like after the breakup, getting to be by myself for a really long time and healing from it, and truly getting to experience the highs and lows. Like literally, I was doing a lot of drinking and getting high a lot, but experiencing that growth and healing was truly something I'm grateful for. Like to be able to look back now and be like, all of that shit was absolutely like 100% like what I experienced. God, my God. There's a lot of tea that I'm not ready to say yet. I will at some point eventually, but for right now, it's just kind of like, Um, but I think one thing that I will say for sure is learning to be okay with being alone, like not in a relationship. Because when in high school, I was in two relationships. Well, one relationship, one situationship. And that situationship was partly my fault because I did not tell them how I truly felt. So, that's my fault. But like the first relationship I was in at an early age of like from all of middle school to like sophomore year. And, it's young, naive love. It's like you think everything's like sunshine and rainbows and you think that everything's okay. But then when shit hits the fan, like your first heartbreak is immense and it's tremendous because you don't know how to handle it because no one's had those conversations with you. And then finally, when you're okay with it, you feel all the things after. Like you feel like you're like, okay, like I'm ready to get myself back out there and like blah this and blah that. But you've never taken that time to just be alone. Like you've never, like at least for me, it was like, oh, I need to be in another relationship. I was in a situation for many years, and it wasn't until we got to talk again, like as we got to be adults, where we're just like, we were just dumb kids and we didn't know what we were doing. And like, that's true. And then I think my first serious relationship as soon as I graduated high school was the abusive one. And I want to keep in mind to everyone that abuse comes in different forms and in different ways, which is mental, emotional, and physical. I'm not ready to talk about like what happened yet, so too bad. But it was a lot, especially because it was the summer after you graduate high school. Like you're supposed to figure yourself out more. You're supposed to be like, this is the person I'm meant to be. And it doesn't matter if it's with someone or without someone. But like for me personally, I felt like I never got that opportunity to be like, oh, this is who I want to be. Like, like this is who I am by myself. Like if this is who I am by myself, then I'm ready to give myself to a person. Like, no, I've always been in situations or relationships. And then, well, after my ex and then healing and just literally just messing around and having fun. And that entire period, it was like a really long and a year. It was only a year and a half, a year and 6 months of a healing era. And eventually towards the end, I was like, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to be in a relationship. Like you just feel it. Like especially after everyone telling you you need to, be by yourself and you need to like do this, and they were right, because I look back now and I'm like, man, uh, that was the best decisions I could have ever made. Now all of you are wondering, you're like, "Wait, but you met your partner at 20." Ha, here's the funny thing. When I met Jorge, not only was I fully ready to start dating again and to be happy, but there were so many concerns of people are just like, well, this just happened. And it was like, yeah, but that was a year ago. And time and the way people grieve and heal is different for everyone. It's not a linear path. It's up, down, left, right, like move it up, you know what I mean? Like it's more of waves and lines and curves and circles and turnarounds, and it's not meant to be linear. And like at this point, I don't care about that people had doubts about my healing, but at the same time, it's just like, if I say I'm ready, I'm ready. When I met my partner, when I met my beautiful fiance, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect it to go from one date to two dates to three dates to sleepovers to months to a year. I didn't expect anything, because all my fantasies and my things that I told myself was meant to happen in relationships, it went out the window. Like all the conventional stuff and all the planning just woof, because I was just like, at this point he was right. I should just let things kind of flow and see where it goes from there. And look at us now. 5 beautiful, tremendous years together that feel like an eternity. We have a house together, we have a home together. Um And spoiler alert for everyone, we just got engaged. So, you know, um, well, we've been engaged since January, and it's March. So, but you know, me personally, in that time while I was with him, I was still discovering myself. I was still learning things about myself that I never have before, and I was continually growing with myself. And honestly, in that time, finally looking at myself in the mirror and being like, who are you? And oh my god, it was amazing, finally being myself and who I am at this very moment, and looking at myself and being like, this is who you are. My god, I give myself pats on the back because everyone tells me I have to, and it's like, fine, I will, I guess. But I think um for the for the teenage version of myself who always wanted this life, if like at any moment I can go back and look at him and be like, you can just stop downing yourself, stop being afraid, stop telling yourself you need to be in situations or in people's places or in different things because it's what you deserve. It's like, no, 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 you deserve so much more. You deserve 110% more than what you have right now, because just by yourself you have that innate ability and power to live your life that you've always wanted. And if I can look at younger me and be like, don't worry, things are gonna work out, I could, but I can't. But now, even as an adult, learning to connect further, even in deeper parts of myself that I've never thought I could ever do, oh my god, all the struggles and all the effort is worth the wait. It truly, truly is. And I can get into big examples, and I'm going to. Like, for example, like reconnecting with myself in the way of my weight and my body. Because for the longest time, ever since high school, like, I was a chubby kid. Like, just putting that out there. There's pictures of me. I was bullied for being chubby and for having a stomach, and for, and then when I lost the weight and I was in high school and I had my growth spurts, I was really, really skinny. I was twinkie skinny, and I mean twink. And that could have also been because of the ED. But, I was a twink. And everyone was complimenting me and, like, telling me that I looked good and being nice. And, that's not what I wanted. I wanted everyone to be nice to me even before the weight. But the fact that I was not accepting of myself in both situations, in the fact that I was chubby or that I lost the weight and then I gained it back, I had to learn how to be okay with that. I had to tell myself, you know what? Because it's true. Everyone's bodies and genetics is different. Bodies fluctuate, they go up and down, they change, especially over time as you get older. Like, I've had to learn how to be good on my own, and how to be happy with myself, and how to love my body. That was like one of the biggest things. Like, even now at the age of 24 going on 25, like, seeing my body and just being happy with it, the fact that I am an able-bodied person and that I have this beautiful skin and that I have my beautiful stretch marks and thick thighs, and I fucking love it. And it took so long for me to stop having to project myself and to be so insecure, and to learn to accept that this is just how it's going to be. This is my body. Some years, some weeks, some months, I can lose a ton of weight and still look good and still be, have my thick thighs and, look like a twig. And then there's other days where I'm like, I did gain weight. Oh, well. Learning that part of myself and reconnecting with my body has truly been immense, and I don't look back anymore. I look fondly at my pictures now. I look amazing. I look at the weight gain or the weight loss, and I'm just like, yeah, that happened. Or like, even in recent times during COVID, like for 4 years when I gained a lot of weight and then lost it again, but not because I wanted to be skinny, but because I needed to be healthy again, because I got COVID, because I gained so much weight, and because there were health problems that a lot of people still don't know about. I needed to do that. I needed to, and like if it came with weight loss, great. If it didn't, oh well. I do physical activity now to be mentally and physically healthy, not for the aesthetics. That's just it. If it comes with a six pack or if it comes with just a flat belly, fine. I'm happy with it. It's got to come with the fat ass though. Either way, for both, if I gained a lot of weight or I was really skinny, I still needed an ass. I want a curvy butt. Like I need that thing to stick out so people could be like, damn, oh my God. You know, I think the other thing that I have had to learn is like what is deeper inside and like things that I feel and how to communicate with those things. But that like comes from like me from processing like what I felt and what I've experienced. And it took me so long to find my voice in art. And that's okay because it comes with the time. And I feel like when people talk about trauma, and a friend helped me learn this, but it's like we should stop putting labels in like time, like from this to this, because like I said, processing and learning and handling things and healing, it takes so much time. It takes forever. And I don't think it's right for people to put a timestamp on it because yeah, like it could, like in a timestamp in a sense, like, oh, you know, it should be done at this point, or it should be fixed at this point, or it should be, you know, like stop doing that. Like it's, some things are going to take a really, really long time to fucking heal. So I've had to learn how to be okay with that. Be like, okay, this may have happened in like 2015, but I'm still dealing with things from 2025. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter like how long it is. It's like things might have a beginning, but they'll never have an end. Like truly, like those still be things that you're learning to like deal with. And for me, it's a lot of grief. It's a lot of loss. It's a lot of pain and heartbreak that I'm still dealing with. And that's okay. Like there's no way that I'm able to heal everything magically like that. Like I have to give myself grace and time, knowing that things are going to take a little bit. Like that's just it. Hi baby. Sorry, my dog Zoe came out because she wanted to be with hi. But you know what I mean? Like that's just it. And when it comes to this and like my reconnection with myself, holy shit. There's still so much that I'm willing to learn and willing to reconnect with little bits of myself that I never thought I could. And the first two, those are two great examples. There's a lot of other examples, but I feel like in time, like I'll be able to talk about them. For right now, that's kind of all I have to say. There's a lot that I wish I could have said, but I think it wasn't necessary. So, but, it's a really short episode and I hope y'all enjoy it. But I am sorry, the new Ariana Grande songs are stuck in my head. And anyways, but I hope everyone has a good day. I hope you had a good listen to this. I'm still finding out ways to end these episodes and all things like that, but I love y'all for listening. Thank you so much. Bye.